Welcome to this small group time. Thanks so much. I wanted to thank you so much for just going on this journey with us, this Beyond journey. Hopefully Sunday you were able to be in person with us, but if not, hopefully you were able to watch it online. As we just revealed to you where God's been leading us, we've been in this prayerful time for the last couple of years of where's God taking us, and we don't want to go anywhere where God is not, and we don't want to go anywhere where we're leading God. Even we want God to be leading us and us following, and we believe we are. And thinking of that and thinking about Beyond, that really took us in this thought of where we're going through this whole series, and that is this faith. What does it mean to have faith? That's why we went to Hebrews 11, which is this hall of faith. And so as we walk through this journey of this is where we're headed. This 5-week study is designed to go along with what's happening on Sunday morning. So it will hopefully take what you learned on Sunday from the messages and then dig a little bit deeper, as well as give new perspective. So it's going to be really important that every week you are a part of the Sunday morning message, but also then the content here will feed into the discussion that will happen a little bit later. So every week, someone's going to come introduce how things are going to go for the night. Your leader of your group is going to basically get things ready. Then I'm going to teach for a little while, and then you're going to have discussion questions to work through as we really just try to take this home. And you might go, why are we all doing the same thing? Why are we all doing this curriculum together? Well, there was something I got to experience a few years back. It was called the 40 Days of Purpose. You might have heard of Rick Warren, The Purpose-Driven Life. And during that time, we did Sunday mornings. We were all reading the book, and we were all coming to a small group together at the church I was part of. And it was some of the most unifying, uniting time in the life of the church. And man, it just felt like we were all on the same page and moving in the same direction. And it was just so great to be united about that. And that's what we want right now. We want the entire church, Brook Life, united in heart as we follow in God's footsteps into where he wants to take us next, where he is taking us next. In order to do that, though, we have to have a lot of belief and a lot of faith in what God is leading us to. When I was thinking and praying through this, the posture that I want us all to be in is that we're going back to this basics of what it means to believe. In the church, we talk about believing a lot. We talk about faith a lot. We talk about trusting a lot. But what does it mean to truly believe in something? It's a question I've been pondering. I believe in science. I do. You might go, well, I don't believe all of science. Well, I don't believe all of what science has revealed or every theory that's come around, but I do believe in the science because science is built on the concept of the scientific method. And so, I mean, I don't know what all those things are, but observable. And then one of the big pieces is repeatable. And that repeatable part, that whatever you're observing and looking at, you make a theory, see if it works, and if you can repeat it over and over again. That's what makes science beautiful, is this discovery process, and you watch the repeatability, and then you can make theories based on it, and you can approach life. I believe in science. The repeatable part gets to sometimes when there's a miracle that will happen. That's not repeatable, so science can't confirm or deny, and it's not built to. So sometimes we find ourselves in feeling like we have to fight science, but as a Jesus follower, I'm a big science guy because I believe science reveals God. It's more evidence of God. It shows me the fingerprints of God. So I believe science because it makes sense in my head, I think. I believe in the internet. Now, that's an interesting thing. I believe in the internet, even though I have no clue how it works. I'm a pretty nerdy type guy when it comes to technology and stuff, but I still have no clue how the internet works. I mean, I can hook you up to the internet. I can give you a Wi-Fi password. I can record this video and know that you're going to be online watching it somehow from your device or your computer or from the screen where you're at, that we're all somehow connected through this thing of the internet. I believe in it. I see it working. I have no idea how it works, but I believe in love. I believe love is real. I believe love dictates life in so many ways. The things we love, we sacrifice for, we invest in, we let our worlds revolve around. I believe in the love of my kids, the love of my wife. I believe even some people love animals and love dogs and all of that, and I believe it's real. But I do know there's a difference between the depths of the love, but I believe in love. I believe in God's love for me, my love for God, all of that. I can't really define it. I can't tell you how it works. I can't give you the scientific breakdown for how love is. People have tried to scientifically define love, but I still think they fall short. Love is tricky, but yet love is something I believe in with all of me. In fact, my entire belief system is built on loving God and loving people. So I sort of have to believe in that, but I do believe in that. And then I believe in beauty. Beauty is one of those really weird things. How do you know if something's beautiful? Because it looks beautiful, because it feels beautiful, because it is beautiful? Is it intrinsic, or is it simply my perspective? I think some things are beyond perspective. I don't think beauty is just in the eye of the beholder. Some things are just beautiful, period. But yet, whether it's objective or subjective, I still believe in there is beauty, there's majesty, there's glory. I believe in it. So I don't know that I've actually helped you any more understanding or having a basis for your beliefs, but we believe in things. And maybe this is the thing I was trying to get to. You don't have to understand everything about it to believe in it. You don't have to be able to explain it to believe it. And I think that's when we come to God and how God works and how God leads and how we got the Bible and how it's all sitting in front of us. You're not going to be able to explain it all before you start believing in it, but it's believing in the stuff that our heart leads us to, that God speaks to us, the stuff that we know. It's intrinsic. It goes really, really deep. I've had things I used to believe in that I don't believe in anymore. Like I used to believe, maybe when I was more naive about the world, that Santa is coming to town. And you know what I mean? That used to be something I believed with my whole heart. Today, not so much. I used to be, gosh, I remember back in the 90s, I was such a fan of Michael Jordan, and I still am. Crazy, amazing, best basketball player ever. I know you want to debate and say someone else is, but Michael Jordan, best basketball player ever. I believe that. I believed in Michael Jordan. I believed in Michael Jordan in a way, though, in the 90s that I don't do now that I'm older, a little bit wiser, less naive. I believed in Michael Jordan as my hero. Well, then I learned things about Michael Jordan and his lifestyle and some of the things he did, and all of a sudden, he's not as much a role model in all aspects of life. I sort of see that there's some parts of his life I don't want to emulate. So I believe in him as an athlete, as a competitor, but I don't necessarily want to be just like Mike in everything. So I don't believe in him the way I used to. I don't know that I ever believed this, but maybe as a kid, I believe that politicians have our best interest in mind. It's been a while. And I know there are good ones out there, and the good ones, they deserve to be believed in. Unfortunately, a lot of others don't. So my beliefs have changed. I would like to believe, and I just don't know if I ever that, and that a used car salesman is going to actually tell me everything's just wrong with the car before he sells it to me, or if it has any problems. You would think by now in my life I should have been wise enough to know that's not always the case. In fact, maybe not ever the case, but I just bought a car where the guy told me that it had these problems, didn't have this problem, and sure enough, there were problems he didn't even mention. Cost me a lot of money. Just my bad. So it's really hard because we want to believe. In fact, life is better when we do believe in things, but at the same time, we know we can get taken for a ride. I think that's why believing takes a hit, is because of the people betray us or the people that abuse us. We've all been betrayed by someone. We've all had the used car experience probably, or somebody selling us they promised would fix everything, or someone saying they'd be there for us for life and maybe they weren't, and all of that makes us a bit jaded when it comes to believing. Looking back at my teenage years, the girl I had a crush on, a crazy crush on, and thought she liked me back. I thought we had a thing. Yeah, sure, she had a boyfriend, but he wasn't much of a boyfriend. She was flirting back with me. Turns out later she just wanted me to help her with her homework because I was good at that kind of stuff. It makes us jaded when it comes to believing. But yet, believing is so important to who we are. So as adults, we hesitate to believe like we did as kids. That's good. That's maturity. but it's also a great hindrance to living life to the full that we were created to live. Here's a couple of questions I'm going to have you look at together in your groups in a minute. Just a couple thought exercises. The first one, just think about this. If you do business with people, expecting them to betray you, expecting them to cheat you, how will that affect the way you do your business with them? You're going to have like these doubts. You're going to have this stuff. You're not going to do good business because you're expecting them to fail. Why do you think we have so many contracts and why we need lawyers? It's because we expect to be taken advantage of. Yeah. So how does that going to affect the way you do business? If you fear, how about this one? If you fear that people closest to you will abandon or betray you, how will that affect those relationships? In any good way? In any meaningful way that's going to be helpful? I think not. If you expect your kids, if you have any, to disappoint you, how will that affect your attitude toward them and their attitude toward you and life? Or you could flip that. If your parents expected you to disappoint them, how did that affect your attitude toward them and their life? So, I mean, you can already see where this is going. That a lack of belief, a lack of trust, a lack of faith in stuff almost never leads to good. At the same time, we don't want to be taken advantage of. We don't want to be betrayed. Here's the thing. Belief in people is essential to actually becoming fulfilled people. You just can't function the way we were designed to function without believing in at least some people, trusting at least some people. The most meaningful thing in life are relationships. We were created for relationships. Back in Genesis, it says that when Adam was created, it is not good for him to be alone. And it doesn't just mean God in the picture, it means other people. Eve, the representation of community. God himself in that beginning chapter is referred to as Elohim, which is a plural. God, the Trinity, already alluded to. Nothing, us, God, we weren't created to be alone. We need relationships, and relationships don't work if there's no trust. There's no belief in the other. In this much the same way that you can't live without trusting at least someone, or if you do, it will not be a fulfilling life. In much the same way, we can't live a fulfilling life without believing God. If you live life not believing in God, the only thing you have to believe in is people and in yourself. And that's scary because you have to trust either people or you have all the answers you need to do life well. I have to tell you, that is dangerous. I love people. I like people. I'm big. When I have answers or questions that I have in my life, I'll go to YouTube. I'll go check out a friend and get their perspective and everything on it. But here's the thing I found with everybody. Everybody's perspective is a little skewed. Everybody's perspective is somewhat narrow. Everybody knows what they know, but there's a whole lot that they don't know. So, and that comes to me too, to you too, about myself. I know my perspective is limited. I know I can't see everything. I know my knowledge base is limited. So how in the world can I trust me to dictate what life should be like, how I should live life, how I should do life? And then if I have a group of people that I trust, it's probably a small group of people, and I got 10 people, 5 people, 20 people, even 50 people. There is so much information that lies outside of that. How do I find meaning and purpose and the answers to what I need? How do I find the protection? How do I find the hope? How do I find the future? Is this all there is? I tell you what, if your faith is in people and that's where you're building your life completely on, then gosh, life is scary. Life is, live for the moment because that's about all you got. But if you want something more, the more that is offered is what we find in God. Faith in God means that I'm putting my faith in something bigger than me. Faith in God means I'm trusting that there's someone who does know it all, whose perspective is bigger, who can see what I can't, who knows what I can't. We're not worthy of the kind of trust that we need to trust someone as God. We will never have peace trusting in ourselves or other people. We will only have peace when we trust in someone worthy of the trust. That is being God, and no one qualified is God himself. The scriptures are full of people, examples of people who believed in God and God showed up. God kept showing up and God did everything he promised to do. That's what the scriptures, one of the main scriptures, the reason the scriptures are there and been preserved for us is to see how God moved, how God did, who God was in the past and in the present, and so that we can trust him with our future. That's why it's there. God wanted us to see. He gave us examples. And then we walk into where we've been talking now, Hebrews 11, this hall of faith, where this belief that these individuals placed in God gets heralded. It gets lifted up as an example of God showed up for them. They trusted him. And look at what God did in their lives. Hebrews 11, 1 and 2, we talked about this on Sunday. Now, faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. This is what the ancients were commended for. The ancients being those guys way back there. When we do this hall of faith, we're actually looking at something that was written in the time probably of Paul. Jesus would have already been gone when this was written. But this was written thinking of those who had already gone before them. And now we not only look to those who had gone before the people in Jesus' time, in Paul's time, we look to Paul, we look to Peter, we look to James, we look at these examples of people who trusted God, who believed in God. And because they did, their lives were crazy, amazing, fulfilling, filled with hope, filled with joy, filled with love. That's why we have faith. They lead us to believing in God or helping us to believe more in God. Now, in this passage, it says those who trust in God were commended for their faith, not only by God, but by the millions upon millions who have read the scriptures and who have said, I did what they said to do. And because I put my faith in God like they did, my life too is fulfilled. I too have hope. The church, which came after or came in the middle of this whole book of Hebrews, came in the middle of the New Testament, was birthed and given life, has had billions and billions of followers, of participants, of people who said, I believe in God too, and it has changed my everything. My faith in God is stronger because of the faith of those who've gone before us. So, belief, what is it? How do you know you should believe it? How do you know you can believe it? What is it all about? And how do I have confidence to take the next step? I would say one of the best ways that we can have faith, or most important ways that you can have faith to take the next step, is that you know that billions upon billions have taken this step before you, and they came out smiling at the end. So if that's a great way to live for them, it's probably a good way to live for you too. The other is, I think our heart check leads us in the same direction as well. So let's talk about this believing thing today in our groups. What does it mean to believe? How do you believe in a world where people let you down all the time? And then what is it like if we don't believe? But then what is it like if we do believe? Before you go into your group though, I'd love to pray for you as you have this conversation tonight. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you for just the foresight you had, the ability to see ahead and know what we would need. Lord, it's hard for us to trust in something we can't touch, that we can't see. And so you made faith something seeable by showing us examples in the past of people who put their faith in you and how it went well when they did. And you didn't just do it once. You did it time and time and time and time and time and time again throughout the scriptures, preserving for us the examples we need in order to place our trust in you. And Lord, belief is more than just examples and seeing those examples. Belief is something inside us that just knows this is true. Lord, thank you for showing up in a way that's beyond even like evidence, in a way that transcends evidence and showing your reality to us. Lord, in this time of the Beyond Initiative, Lord, help us to grow in our faith of you. Help us to lean in, and Lord, help us to look forward to what you're going to do. We love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.